Today's adventure was to take us east across the Crow Indian Reservation to Sturgis, South Dakota, and then on to Deadwood, where we would spend the night. The short stretch down Interstate 90 was under construction. Traffic on the access road was going faster than we were. The first stop along the way was at Little Bighorn Battlefield National Monument, Custer's last stand. This was the first occasion to try and use my Golden Eagle passport. Can two bikers enter a national monument on only one Golden Eagle passport? Yes, they can. Aside from the battlefield, there is a national cemetery at the battlefield. The cemetery was established in 1879. The battle at Little Bighorn was in June 1876 when Lieutenant Colonel George A. Custer and 210 men of the 7th Cavalry Regiment were defeated by a much larger force of Sioux and Northern Cheyenne. Monuments mark the locations of the fallen soldiers. One large monument at the center of the battlefield commemorates the battle and is the location of the community burial sites. Other cavalry stood off at a distance, unable to assist. We rode the length of the battlefield area, about 5 miles. It was also the first opportunity to try out my Pirates of the Caribbean do-rag. John selected an ugly blue one. I know it's ugly because Jim told me so. At the Reno Benteen battlefield, the outermost section of the park, we stopped for some pictures. We were confronted with the usual, "Nice bikes, where are you going? Where you been? How far have you been?" Nobody that stood out really, just the general comments by those daring enough to approach. Just enough to tell folks back home about the gang of Hell's Angels they'd talked to. No one ever asks, "What do you do for a living?" It's assumed you ride bikes. We also took pictures along the road going out. We tried to get some good pictures while moving. Some turned out decent, but none were the spectacular shot that we had hoped for. That was until John had them printed out as panoramic. Then one turned out great. East along Highway 212 was lonely. We had to be very careful to check for fuel. We rode through some beautiful sections of rolling hills. Mid-afternoon, we came to a herd of deer. We pulled off the road and watched the deer for quite a while. We pulled a root beer from our stockpile and had a few chips just to pass the time. We were probably there for 15 or 20 minutes before we decided to leave, and a truck appeared on the horizon to the west. We watched the truck for several minutes when another topped the hill to the east. They passed each other at exactly the spot we were standing. These were the only two vehicles we saw the entire time. It was probably along this road someplace that I first lost John to the scenery. I would look in my rearview mirror and he would be gone. I would turn around, worried, and go back to find him on the side of the road, gazing, camera in hand, and mumbling something about beautiful. His eyes were glazed over and he always wanted to bring Chris to just this spot. I learned that he probably wasn't lying on the side of the road and to just keep riding and he would finally catch up. There were pictures of Montana, Wyoming, and South Dakota taken on the way into Deadwood. Deadwood is a gambling town in South Dakota. Everyone told us not to stay in Sturgis and that Deadwood was much better. They were right. Sturgis would wait until tomorrow. We were not a novelty in South Dakota that we were elsewhere. As a matter of fact, the most common comment in South Dakota was, "You're a little early, aren't you?" At the city limits of Deadwood was a sign that said, "Motorcycles with loud pipes will not be tolerated." We checked in at the Best Western. As we were parking our bikes, I dropped mine. How embarrassing. It wasn't damaged badly, but I was. We took a trolley downtown to B.B.'s Cody's and had a 19-ounce T-bone for $9, and it was delicious. Chuck, the trolley driver, dropped us off at the motel where I dropped off and John surfed the channels. Aside from me dropping my bike, it was another good day.